tea. Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And tonight's tale I call... If you've seen one episode, you should see them all. And you should, kiddies, because tonight my good fiends Jamie and Nelson will be talking everything Tales from the Crypt, from episode to episode, from season to season, from scream to scream.
Welcome to the first of 7 episodes of Complete Disarray, all about the HBO Tales from the Crypt show.
The hit series.
The hit series. Well, the hit mostly series. 7 seasons of multiple episodes. Some have 6. Some have a lot more than 6.
Some were like, what, 18? Or
yeah. Some are hits, some are misses. But we're going to pick 3 or 4 so-ish of each season. Mm-hmm. And this is the only season that we're going to be actually discussing all of them.
Right.
Because there's only 6 episodes. So now, I guess, let me introduce my co-host for this series. Host of Average Home Theater.
Yeah.
Mr. Nelson G.
Well, thanks for having me again. And I'm very much looking forward to doing this series. I was introduced to this at way too young of an age. Okay. So I'm one of 6 kids, right?
Okay.
And so I have a sister who is 13 years older than me. Well, once she got married, I was 12 years old, I think, when she got married.
Okay.
So her husband, who's basically like a big brother to me, so we go to my sister's house and hang out, and they had HBO, right? Okay. So my brother-in-law exposed me to a lot of things that I shouldn't have. Eddie Murphy Raw, Eddie Murphy Delirious, things like that, because he was like in his mid-20s.
Right.
It was cool to show his 12-year-old brother-in-law all this cool stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
So, well, they had HBO, and Tales from the Crypt was on. So this was around 92, 93.
Okay,
so the
so
series had been on
3
for
or 4 years.
Right. Yeah. And the first episode I can remember was the Demi Moore episode. I'm not sure which one that is.
Is that the one where John Candy plays like 3 or 4?
I don't remember.
No, that's a movie. Never mind.
We'll get... Oh, okay. You're talking about Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, but right, but I'm the same thing. It's Demi Moore, right?
Right.
And John Candy plays like 3 or 4 different characters in that movie.
I know he plays his sister.
Yeah, but I think he plays like 3 or 4 people. Don't make me go out and buy it, and we'll watch this too.
I have Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, well then there you go.
I have the DVD.
Stay here for the episode of Nothing But Trouble.
Such a weird movie, man.
It is.
Isn't it directed by Dan Aykroyd?
You know what? I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
And maybe it's Aykroyd who plays 3 or 4 different people.
No, well...
Maybe between the 2 of them, they play 4 people.
I think Aykroyd just plays the judge.
And the director.
And the director, so I guess maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What were we talking about?
The first episode I ever saw was the Demi Moore episode. And I just remember seeing, Demi Moore on the credits, and she was walking down the street. So that's how I got introduced to all this, and I've loved it ever since.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, we were sitting here, I'm recording another episode for something else, probably for FaveFive, and I noticed that you had the box set of all 7 seasons, and you've got the good set, the set that's each season is in its own little slipcase.
Right.
And we started talking about it, so we decided to do an episode of FaveFive based on anthology episodes of different shows that we love the most, which is still a little ways down the road. But you suggested that we go through this series.
Yeah.
And I said, sure, but I didn't have it. And then you sent me a link to buy the new set that has all of the discs, but they're all in one case.
Yeah, I didn't.
And so I
realize
have that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I've got them all.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So I've got that. And in the meantime, I was going on a show called the Advent Christmas House, where we talked about And All Through the House.
Oh yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that'll be coming out soon. And I'll have a link to that. It might be out already. I don't know. It's that podcast time travel stuff. It's still working it out.
Hollywood.
So what we did is we sat down and we're going to start with season 1. And so we're going to do all 6 episodes of season 1 today. You picked half. I picked half. We're going to do them in no particular order. We're just going to you're going to talk a little bit and I'm going to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you have the very first episode.
I do. I have the very first
So
episode.
I think if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's just start talking about Tales from the Crypt.
So anyway, the man who was death, William Sadler. We talked about him when we talked about Shawshank in one of our episodes. He's great. Like, I love William Sadler. Everything he's in. I was just watching Die Hard 2 the other day because, it's a Christmas movie and it's that time of year. So I was watching Die Hard 2 because I always save Die Hard 1 for Christmas Eve.
Oh, okay.
So I was watching Die Hard 2 and I'm just like, man, William Sadler, first time you see him, he's butt naked, he's exercising, he's the man. And so I didn't see this episode until I got this set. Until I got this set. So I was like, oh, I got my hands on Tales from the Crypt, all of them, gonna watch them in order, put it in, and boom, I was like, oh, William Sadler, first episode, it's great. And directed by Walter Hill, who I didn't realize that Walter Hill, Richard Donner, Robert Zemeckis, like all those guys apparently are like really tight.
They're like in a motorcycle gang,
right? And
they'll have the vests.
With
I'm
the
sure
vest,
they do. Yeah,
leather vest.
I don't know. It could be pleather.
Pleather.
I mean, if they love animals, maybe they can go.
They can
real
afford
low.
it though.
I'm sure they could. Maybe it was those farm raised that die and given a peaceful burial and then skinned.
So like Walter Hill, he's one of those guys where like his movies, he has a certain style, and it's sometimes they're a little weird, but no matter what, you still enjoy the crap out of them. Like, did you ever see Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis?
Oh yeah.
Such a weird movie.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Anyway, so I just a little tangent just talking about Walter Hill. I just think Walter Hill.
You go right ahead.
So in this episode, Niles Tabbitt, who's played by William Sadler, he's a prison executioner, and he like really loves doing it. He and what I like
about love what you do.
Right. I mean,
you love what you do, and you never work a day in your life.
Correct. And this guy is living the dream. Like, he loves killing people with the electric chair. He was like the power guy, power maintenance guy at the prison. He got promoted to frying people. So I'm not sure how that happens, but it's Tales from the Crypt. And he really, really likes it, all this good stuff. Well, the state, whatever state he's in, decides to abolish the death penalty.
No.
Right, so he loses his job and he's all depressed. And what's cool about this episode is he's talking to you. He's talking to the audience, And I really like stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, remember we were talking about how I love
breaking the third wall.
And I like first person novels, like whatever novel's written in first person. So to me, it just adds a little something.
Gotcha.
And so you see him get upset. He loses his job. He begs for his old job back. And they're like, well, it would make people uneasy that the executioner is now like
changing
working.
light bulbs. Yeah. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So he loses his job and he's upset. So he decides that then he starts seeing people get off of crimes that they commit.
Ah, okay.
And he gets pissed. He gets mad that, so, John Smith committed this double homicide, but through a technicality in the legal system, he's set free.
Okay.
And so Niles decided to start taking matter into his own hands and becomes a vigilante. He starts killing these people who get away with horrible crimes.
Gotcha.
And he does it. The way he gets rid of them is creative ways to shock people to death.
So say it's shocking what he does,
it's
right?
Shocking.
Okay.
So
he's really an electrifying guy.
Right, exactly.
What?
Huh? So like the first one, if I'm remembering correctly, because I watched this like a week ago.
Oh, okay.
It was he electrified a fence. You know, a guy got away.
Oh.
He happened to touch a fence and
Zap.
zapped him to death. Yeah. So anyway, I guess we're not worried about spoilers, right?
No.
Okay. So if you haven't seen it, just go watch it and then come back and listen to us afterwards.
Yes.
So they obviously he gets a little sloppy and they start to get the cops, the police, whomever start to get suspicious that okay, all these people are dying and they're all being electrocuted to death. So I guess they start following him and you know they bust him and then guess what? Oh, we're gonna reinstate the death penalty. And
so does he get to electrocute himself at least?
That would have been interesting if they said you can have your job back, but you gotta you gotta
kill yourself first.
Right. Yeah.
I'm down with that.
So just like all of these, it's everything kind of comes full circle. That's what's great about the series. The people, they're all terrible. Pretty much everybody's horrible in every episode, and it's kind of what goes around comes around type of thing.
In different ways. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and then in the end, he gets electrocuted, and so he at the beginning he talks about how they always beg and they always say the governor's gonna call, and he's like they're not calling for you, boy, that type of stuff.
Okay.
And then of course at the end he's doing the same thing. The governor's gonna call.
Oh, it's the governor call, yeah. Listen, you just delay this thing just a couple of minutes. That's all I'm asking for, just a few damn minutes. Come on now, I'm not like the other ones. You know me.
And no, the governor doesn't call.
Doggone governor.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, The Man Who Was Death, one of my favorites.
Well, my first episode is episode number 2, and All Through the House. This was Tis the Season. Came out June 10th, 1989, and it was adapted from the Vault of Horror comic book, number 35. Some people say it was also in 24. I'm not sure exactly where that comes from. I didn't dig that bit. But it's got Mary Ellen Trainor. Talked about...
Robert Zemeckis' wife.
Right. But you talked about Die Hard 1. She was the reporter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, on Die Hard. Larry Drake and Marshall Bell. And then there's a couple of other people. So this was directed, like you said, by Robert Zemeckis, who is famous for Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Death Becomes Her, and Castaway, among others. Written, or I guess you could say adapted, by Fred Decker. Does that name sound familiar?
It does.
He wrote House, Night of the Creeps, The Monster Squad, and most recently The Predator. So he's well versed in horror.
I loved House when I was a kid.
Oh, I did too. There's like 4 or 5 of them.
I've only seen the first one.
The second one's good too. Yeah, it's a little different. Third, fourth, but the first one, it's the best. Basically, on Christmas Eve, a mother who is trying to put her little girl to bed is because she's so excited about Santa Claus coming. And then she goes back down to the living room, and her husband, Joseph, who is just like you were saying earlier, an all-around bad guy. He's like, "Where's the damn poker?"
I love that guy.
I do too. He was great. He's in it for just a few lines.
What's his name?
His name was Marshall Bell. He was also in...
he's in Total Recall.
I was fixed to say Total Recall.
Yeah, Quado is in his stomach.
Yeah. So she basically kills him and then goes to take him outside. But while she's outside trying to dump the body in the well, jump scare, he's not dead. But then she whacks him some more and he is dead. So while she's outside, she doesn't hear the broadcast about the fact that a deranged mental patient from the Pleasantville Mental Institute for the Criminally Insane has escaped, killed 4 people, and taken on a Santa Claus suit. So it quickly goes through the episode. And again, like you were saying, these things are 24, 25 minutes.
Quick.
They're quick. It becomes this huge battle between, is her husband really dead? Yes, he's dead. Now the Santa Claus killer shows up. He attacks her. She puts him down, but surprise, he's not really dead. He gets in. She tries to call the police, and then she realizes, well, I can't call the police. I just killed my husband. He's out there.
Got a dead body outside.
Right. And then when she finally finds out, when the police call her to tell her, hey, in case you didn't hear it on the radio, she's like, oh my God, Santa Claus killed him. And so she thinks she's got the perfect alibi. But then it doesn't quite work out. And Santa Claus makes his way in through the house with the help of little Lindsay. And
she helps him in through the window.
In through the window. You old silly Santa. And it ends with just this wonderful scene where she's at the top of the stairs, worried about her daughter, and then her daughter's down at the bottom of the stairs going,
Oh, Carrie. Thank goodness.
See, Mommy? I told you Santa would come, and he didn't even have to come down the chimney. I let him in.
And he steps out from behind the grandfather clock. But it's just, I mean, he's just got this look on him. He's got these crazy rotten teeth and the blood splatter all over him. Anyway, just
now,
really
on the
great.
Broadcast, didn't they say that he only killed women? He was only killing women? I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so. Because they say in it, he has 4 victims, but I don't think they specifically said. Okay.
I know the Crypt Keeper at the end says, don't worry, he only likes...
I think he only kills...
older women or something like that. Because, you know, the episode the episode just ends, and you don't see him killing her, she's just screaming.
Right. Ending on naughty or nice. So Mary Ellen Trainor, the mom, born in Chicago. She was Elaine, the kidnapped sister of Kathleen Turner, and the reason for the entire movie of Romancing the Stone. Okay. Dr. Stephanie Woods in all 4 Lethal Weapon movies. Mm-hmm. And like we said, she was in...
she's the mom in Goonies.
The mom in Goonies. And she is Gail Wellens. Larry Drake was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Best known for Darkman, L.A. Law, and of course, Dr. Giggles.
Never seen Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, but you haven't seen a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, I've never seen Dr. Giggles.
I'm working on that. Marshall Bell was also born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, oddly enough. He was the creepy Coach Schneider in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. And as you said, he was George and Kawato in Total Recall. He was a hitman in Twins. He was Geordie's emotionally distant father in Stand By Me. And for me, it's always General Owens in Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The coward.
Right.
He's also in Airheads.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the police commander or whatever outside.
Yeah. I've only seen that movie one time. It was funny, but
is it Airheads? Yeah, it's Airheads.
It's Airheads. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this was one of the first episodes I remember seeing as a child. I say child. I was 18, 19 at the time. I didn't have HBO, but I had a friend who had HBO. And so I remember us going over and watching it. And I really, enjoyed them. I was very familiar with the Tales from the Crypt comic books for the EC Comics. And also there was I think it was an Amicus movie called Tales from the Crypt. That was the same kind of setup. It was 4 different, But this one had Joan Collins in it as the mom. So anyway, it was interesting. Let's see. Oh, another interesting thing, Larry Drake. He appears in another episode as another killer Santa.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Why don't I remember that?
I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you?
And I've seen every episode. I've watched the whole thing.
Yep. So I'll find out which one it is, but he does. That's what my notes say right here. Let's see. Anything else? Nope. I think that's it. So why don't you turn around and talk about your next episode?
So my next episode is Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. Directed by Richard Donner. Before I go any further though,
yes.
I didn't realize, like, for some reason I don't remember this through my watch through the last time, but the Crypt Keeper, he sounded completely different in season 1. I think he was just kind of
Finding that voice.
finding that voice.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a lot slower, more sinister sounding.
Uh-huh.
And probably by season 2, he sounds a lot different. You know, to where
I have not noticed that.
Yeah,
'Cause I haven't watched season 2 yet.
You'll notice it once we go further. You're
Okay.
like, okay, it changed a lot.
Sounds good.
But anyway, okay, back on task. Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone, directed by Richard Donner, and it's Joe. How do you say Pantoliano?
Joey Pants.
Joey Pants is what people call him.
Joey Pants.
Anyway, he's a like a homeless vagrant,
Uh-huh.
and there's this scientist that offers him money, like a lot of money, to volunteer for an experiment, and basically tells him like he won't die or something like that. So of course he agrees, you know, of course I'll take the money. He's a junkie and all this good stuff. And the experiment is he told him he's not going to be able to die. Didn't tell him any details, but when he wakes up, he finds out that he did something between his brain and a cat's brain, and it gives him 9 lives. So he will be able to die eventually, but it's after it's after the 9th life. So he's going to get,
But
8.
does he actually say he gives him 9 lives?
He does.
He does.
Like, they
Okay.
talk about it. He's like, you have 9 lives. So he was like, this is great, and to prove it to him, he shot him in the head.
Ooh.
And then he woke up. So he's like, I have 8 lives left.
Okay.
So he goes to a, what do you call it? A carnival.
Right. Like a sideshow type deal, right?
Kind of like what we have here at the state fair and all that good stuff. And it's, what's his name from Batman?
Adam West.
Adam West.
Okay.
No. Robert Wool. Robert Wool from the 89 Batman.
Yeah, the reporter.
Reporter, yes.
Yep.
He plays Knox
Right.
in the 89 Batman. He is the ringmaster, or whatever you want to call it. It's his carnival. And he he convinces him, hey, I can't die. We can kill me in front of an audience, and then they can watch me come back to life.
Okay.
And just make tons of money. So that's what they start doing, They start setting up these elaborate deaths for him, and he comes back to life, and people just start paying crazy money to go see him. And of course, it's just like anything else. The money makes him greedy, and so he starts doing crazy things. He kills the ringmaster so he can keep all the money himself.
Okay.
And all of this good stuff. And I don't want to give away all the details, but let's just say some mathematics get mixed up when he's doing his last.
That's why I was questioning it.
Right. Whenever he does his last. Well, he thinks this is gonna be his last one, but it's gonna be your last one.
It's your last one for sure.
Because you lost count at some point, So yeah, that's a good episode. I really
That's a very
enjoyed
good
it.
one. I do. I remember that one well. Yeah.
And I love carnival type stuff. It's always like creepy and kind of gross and all of that good stuff. So it kind of adds to it. Everybody, you can't trust anybody, and all that good stuff. So it's a good little
Yeah,
episode.
Joey Pants is always good. Yeah. So mine next one is episode 5. It's called Lover Come Hack to Me, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah. You just watched it?
Right before you got here.
Really?
I just watched
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Starting Amanda Plummer and Stephen Shelton. Man, I need to get new glasses.
Shellen.
Thank you.
Whomever that is.
Whomever that is. I don't know why I'm doing this because it doesn't.
It's not a touchscreen.
No. But it's directed by Tom Holland, who directed Night Fright, the original Child's Play, and Thinner, from which I've forgiven him. Also, it's written by Stephen Dodd, who really only had this that I could find of any,
Credit.
Yeah. And Michael McDowell, who also did the screenplay for Thinner, of which I've forgiven him, and Beetlejuice. Have you ever seen Thinner?
Yes.
God, I want to love that movie so
I mean,
much.
it has a little charm to it, but is it like a good movie? No, it's not.
And I can say that because this isn't Fave 5.
Right.
Yes. See, I have opinions about bad movies. I just keep them to myself on the other show. This one's a really great episode. Now, this one was a perfect example of what you were saying about everybody in most of these episodes are bad people.
Right.
This one ends a little differently than I was expecting, but so it's all about Peggy, a mousy but very wealthy young lady played by Amanda Plummer, who's just married her handsome husband, Charles, in a little small ceremony. As they leave, her Aunt Edith highly disapproves of him because she knows he's only in it for the money. And he tells her, we're going on our honeymoon, and you better pack up and give me your forwarding address because I'm kicking you out of the house when we get back. So as we drive down the road, and he's just a real big Sergio-looking guy with Fabio,
nice hair,
and driving a BMW and stuff. And it's a rainstorm, and they end up having to stop because a tree is in the road, and they can't go any further, so they find an old house. And they get in the house, and she's all about making it perfect. She wants to be perfect. She's a virgin. She's never been with a man. She's going to have, perfect. So they eventually get into the house, start a fire. Everything's a little weird, and he's not really picking up on it being weird. Oh, look, there's a fireplace already set up and ready to be lit.
Well, before that, look what I found. She found the key to the door.
Yes, that's true. She finds the key to the door. And then there's like a battle axe hanging over it. He's like, oh, look, it's your mother-in-law. And then they go up to a bedroom, and the bedroom's all laid out with all of these candles. And so she goes in and comes out dressed in just really nice, sexy, not necessarily a honeymoon lingerie, but it's all black.
Mm-hmm.
And they consecrate the marriage, and he wakes up to see her outside with another man. And so he's it's funny because he married her only for her money and plans to kill her, but then he's kind of heartbroken that she doesn't really love him. And he watches them make love, and then she kills the guy on the couch. Only to find out it's just a dream. He wakes up, he's not covered in blood, but his new wife is there, and she has the axe. And you find out that the vision he saw was her mother killing her father on the night that she was consecrated. Not consecrated. Conceived, thank you. On the night that she was conceived. So he now has figured out she's nuts. She has the axe. She has a baby inside her, she's sure of. And she is going to kill him.
Because she wants to preserve the perfect
night.
Right.
Yep. They've never had a fight. They've never argued. He pulls out the gun, goes to shoot her, but there's no bullets in it, which I think she must have taken the bullets out.
Because they were lined up on the side.
And, oh, no, you didn't shoot me because you didn't put bullets in it because you didn't want to kill me. So anyway, great, fun episode, though I guess the more evil of the two gets away with it type deal.
And it was weird because when he was dreaming and he thought she was a ghost, I was like, no, he's the ghost. Yeah. He's dead. And he's just watching her do it to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking was going on.
See, I didn't think that. I thought right away that he was watching either a twin and that they were doing some double thing because of the way her hair was done.
Yeah, she looked different.
But then when she came in, I was like, no, I bet you that's the mom. Because she had kind of a 50s style hair, 60s style hair. So I didn't quite know exactly what was going on. But my first thought was they're twins. And this one got married, and this one got married, and they're going to do something and sacrifice both their husbands or something. But it was a really good episode.
The only other thing I've ever seen Amanda Plummer in is Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, Bunny.
I've never seen Honey Bunny. I've never seen her in anything else.
Yeah, she's been in a few things. She was in, of course, I wouldn't expect you to know this, season 2 or season 3. No, season 3.
Of Star Trek?
Of Star Trek Picard. She's the main villain.
Oh, really?
Yes, and she does an excellent job. But, somebody who doesn't want Star Trek wouldn't know that. So anyway, what's your next episode?
So my next one is Only Sin Deep, with my girl Leah Thompson.
Ooh, I think Kevin would fight you for her.
She was a total babe, the whole
still
Back
is a
to the
total
Future
babe.
Yeah, she actually is. Yeah, she's still smoking hot.
Man, she was in the Boys, right? Same one?
I had just seen her recently in like Comic Cons and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So you haven't seen the Boys?
So I haven't seen the Boys. No.
Oh.
Producer Nick told me to watch it. He liked it.
You should watch it. She's in it a lot.
Yeah, I like.
And there's
I like
a lot
Leah
of her
Thompson.
in it.
But she plays a prostitute, and now the thing that bothered me with this episode was her accent was horrible.
Yeah.
She was trying to act like a tough, I guess
from,
New York.
From New York, New Jersey.
And-
forget about it.
And it was so distracting because that is not at all Leah Thompson.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure why they chose to do that, but whatever. So anyway, she's beautiful, of course, and she decides she wants to get out of the oppressive pimp. She wants to get out from. She doesn't want to be a prostitute anymore. She sees a rich guy. Her and her friends see this rich guy get out with this girl. And she's like, "Oh, why can't that be me?" Type thing, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Very much like Pretty Woman, and
Without all the murder.
Without all the murder. So she, she kills her pimp or whatever. She's free. And then she goes and basically seduces, I guess, or throws herself out there for this rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he falls for her, all this good stuff, because it's like, 4 months later, I think.
Okay.
He's been just showering her with gifts and everything. But before I went too far, she had gone to a pawn shop to pawn jewelry and stuff like that she had I think the watch or whatever from the pimp.
Okay.
And the pawn shop owner, he wouldn't buy the jewelry from her because he said it was hot, but he said what he could do is give her money for what do you call it? A plaster of her face, of her beauty.
Okay.
So he does this plaster mold of her face, but what it really is, he does voodoo and he took her beauty.
Okay.
And he does this to other women. What he's trying to do is he's got his wife is back there, she's dead.
Uh-huh.
And he's trying to regenerate her beauty.
Okay.
Through using voodoo, right? From taking beauty from these beautiful women. So anyway.
So what's I didn't see this one recently. I've seen it. What was the deal? I'll give you 6 months for it or something, or what?
He just said, I'll give you $10,000 for your beauty. But
she doesn't walk out ugly.
No.
Okay.
She walks out like normal, but what happens is after 4 months, she starts to notice wrinkles and she's starting to age really quickly.
Gotcha.
And so when she goes back, he tells her, "Hey, you only had 4 months." Now, I don't remember that. Maybe I missed it.
Okay.
While I was watching it, I don't remember him telling her 4 months or something like that. But apparently, she only had 4 months to go and change her mind, and he told her that was yesterday.
Okay.
So conveniently, whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is, she can't. She's gonna continue to age, and she can't get her beauty back.
Okay.
Well, she goes back. She starts freaking out. She says, "What does she say? Something about she goes to get all the money from the boyfriend. Like she grabs all his jewelry that he's been giving her and everything, and she goes to offer. She wants to offer the pawn shop guy all of this money."
Yeah.
To give it back.
But he doesn't care.
But he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But while she was doing that, she had to kill the boyfriend because he didn't recognize her because she looked completely different. He thought she was just a burglar or whatever, so she just kills him. Yeah. She doesn't care about him. It's all about vanity.
Right.
And whenever she goes back, of course, a police officer just happens to be friends with the pawn shop guy. He goes in. He's like, "Hey, you heard about this dame who killed the..." So as soon as we find her, she knows she can't get her beauty back because if she looks like what she once did, then she's going to go to prison for murder.
Gotcha.
So she has to just live with being ugly the rest of her life.
Wow. Well, I've done it for 53 years.
Yeah.
It's
it's doable. So anyway, so I kind of jumped around a little bit,
Oh, good
but
one.
yeah, it's a fun episode. It's
Yeah,
one of those.
yeah.
It's good. It's a good watch.
Okay. Well, does the voodoo wife come back?
She's beautiful. She's still dead though.
Oh.
But you see her. I mean, instead of a rotting corpse, she's a beautiful corpse.
Oh. Okay. So I will wrap up the season with episode 6, Collection Completed, June 28th, 1989, and it was from Vault of Horror number 25. This was directed by Mary Lambert. Now you know who Mary Lambert is. She directed a movie that I can see from right here. And its
Pet
sequel.
Sematary.
Pet Sematary. Yeah. Exactly. And it was adapted by Battle Davis, which I looked it up to make sure I wasn't missing. Battle Davis was their name. Randolph Davis, who was known for Police Academy 3, and A. Whitney Brown, who that name sounds familiar to you at all? No? Nope. It was a Saturday Night Live writer. So, and there's a lot of humor-esque in this, so I want to say. So this one's all about the amazing M. Emmett Walsh as Jonas and his wife, Audra Ladley. He comes home from after work.
Mrs. Roper, man.
Yeah, exactly. Comes home and he's retired after 47 years of working in a machine shop type place to a party organized by his wife with all of their animals. Now, you could tell right away she's a little off. He is a complete jerk. He hates the animals. He's horrible to his wife. So right away, you're thinking, he's going to be the one who ends up getting it. So he wakes up the next morning all panicked because he thinks he's late for work. And then he's reminded by the wife, you've retired.
You don't have to work.
You don't have to work. So there's this really great little scene where he gets up and goes to the bathroom. She's in there already brushing her teeth, and he's got to go. But he won't tell her she's got to go. So it sets up right away that it's going to be hard for him to be retired and to be at home. So his neighbor his neighbor Roy comes over. The only other person, Martin Garner, who was he was an actor in a whole bunch of different movies, character actor. He was like in Cocoon and some other stuff. You look at his face and you recognize him. So he comes over with a airplane model. And he's like, "Oh, Jonas, you need to find something to do to keep you, active. So here's no. Jonas is gonna go clean up the yard, and by clean up the yard, he takes all of his aggravation out on trees, turns them into sticks, basically. But the wife is just in love with she's obsessed with all of her animals. They are her friends. They obviously don't have kids, so she's filtered, and he can't stand the animals. He trips over their bones. She accidentally feeds him a tuna cat food sandwich.
Tuna,
The dog gets one of the dogs gets a steak for breakfast while he eats oat bran, and then she's even named the pit bull Jonas because she misses him so much. So every few days, Roy comes over with a new bomber, and Jonas just takes it and adds it to the stack. Well, he finally snaps and decides that he's going to pick up a new hobby. Fast forward a couple of weeks. The wife is looking for one of the animals, and then, she realizes she hasn't seen one of the other ones. She makes her way down to the basement, which, of course, there's never anything going on good in the basement. Only to find that Jonas has snapped and has taken up taxidermy.
Right.
And one by one is turning all of her animals into remote controlled. She turns he turns the pit dog Jonas into like a remote controlled dog on wheels, I think. But she is most concerned about her cat Mew Mew. And luckily he hasn't killed Mew Mew yet, but is about to. And so she loses it and grabs the gold hammer, which he was awarded instead of a gold watch, and beats him over the head. And then the scene goes to the next, beautiful spring morning, and Roy comes over to see how it is, and she stands up. They're both sitting there watching TV from the back.
And she's talking to him.
She's talking to him, yeah. And so she's talking to Roy, and, how's he doing? Oh, he's really learned to slow down and just, take it as it comes. He's really slowed down. He moved to the side, and there's Mehmet, and she has obviously killed him and stuffed him and put him in a glorious suit with all, it was like an animal, like cartoon animals all over it, and there's Mew Mew sitting on his lap.
I remember the first time I watched that episode, 'cause I didn't really see that coming. I was like, "Oh snap, she stuffed him."
She stuffed him.
Yeah.
So,
and what's crazy, he was only 54 years old when he filmed that episode, but he was like, "I worked 47 years," and he was 65.
Yeah,
is the age he was supposed to be.
And she, though they were married, she in real life was 17 years old.
71 years old.
Yeah. So, but they played a great couple together. Okay, well, we have finished season 1, and listen, I'm gonna close the book on that one.
Yeah.
So we will make our way through it as Complete Disarray is. It'll come out randomly whenever we feel like it to be done. We may see the first one here soon, and then you may not see it for 6 months.
Hopefully not.
Probably not. But I'm just saying, if I want to, that's how it goes.
Because it's yours.
Because it's mine, and you think I'm going to zig, and I'm going to zag.
You keep it fresh that way.
That's right. Yo, as the kids say.
Yeah, like I'm the same way on my. I'll go weeks, and then just depends on how much time I have and stuff like that.
Yeah. So as we're recording this, it's Black Friday after Thanksgiving, and they say not to mention dates and episodes, but I do because
why not?
Why not? So I appreciate you opening up your house to me once again, and we will do this again real soon.
Sure, I'm ready to go have some leftover Thanksgiving dessert.
I think we can do that.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Maybe watch something.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you all out there in the podcast universe for joining us. Take us out, Nelson G. TK442.
TK44421.
See, I was so close.
Yeah.
44421.
Yep.
Beep, boop, boop, boop.
So, thanks again for watching or listening. Excuse me. Listening.
Well, I mean, theoretically, they could watch the screen.
You could just watch a still screen. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, and join us on the next one. Adios.
Adios. Oh, I forgot to hit record.